Hello everyone, welcome back to Brick Builds. Today we're going to be ranking all of these ninjas and elemental masters here. We've already done one of these videos before where we ranked their elemental power in general, but this time we're going to be ranking their power usage. So to start we have Kai. And Kai, he has a great power. Fire is a great power, at least a B if not an A tier power. But he doesn't use it that well, and it does get stolen a lot. So for these reasons, I'm going to put him in B tier. Actually, he doesn't even use it much. And they all stolen. So actually, we'll move it down to C tier. Next, we have Jay. Now, Jay, he actually uses his power a lot more. He uses it, maybe not for the best reasons, like he's powering up the video game console. But again, that power usage makes it less. But he can electrocute his opponents, and based on the villains, it does help a lot. So I'm going to put him a little bit higher, but not too high, in B tier. Now we have Cole. He's like the when Master Wu was gone, he was like the meat of the team. He was the one who would always use his powers wisely, try to reflect on Master Wu's training the most, when everybody else was just having fun. So for those reasons, Cole goes a little higher. A. Now we have Zane. Zane, he's undoubtedly also A tier, because he is an android, he does think logically, and he only uses his powers when he needs to. Now for Lloyd, it's also another A, but in this scenario, he has a cool power. He doesn't use it that much, but he definitely doesn't misuse it like Kai and Jay. So for the last of the original 6 ninja, we have Nia. Now again, Nia has a super amazing power of water, and she doesn't misuse it, and it's rarely stolen from her. She's used in almost every season to combat every villain. So it's also very nice. But out of these 4 ninja, I think the one who uses their power the best is actually probably Zane, then Cole, then Nia, then Lloyd. Because Lloyd is still on the younger side of things compared to all these other ninja. Now, to start off with the Elemental Masters, we have Griffin Turner. Now, Griffin Turner, he's the Elemental Master of Speed. And, again, he's a B tier. He doesn't, his power in general, it's like, it is a pretty powerful power, but he doesn't use it that much in the show, as we've seen. But he definitely doesn't use it as badly as Kai. Kai could have definitely taken out some major villains using his firepower, but he didn't. That's why we're going to put Griffin Turner in B. We also have Karloff. Now, Karloff is a master of metal. He could have single-handed, if he would have just turned himself to metal, the ninja, they couldn't have fought him. But he decided not to. He only used it once against Kai. So when he could have easily fought all these ninjas. So I'm going to put him in C tier as well. A little bit worse than Kai. Because he had a power which could stop, which is reflect or bounce back most elemental powers, but he didn't decide to use it. Alright, now we have Master of Form, Camille. Now, for her, she has a pretty great power. She can backstab the ninja because she can turn into anybody and anything. But you only see her use it once when she turns into Lloyd, just to figure out what one of the ninja's weaknesses. She could have done a lot worse, and also helped a lot more. But she just didn't do much, more of a side character. And because we didn't see her much in the show, we didn't really see her power. So I'm going to put her in D tier. But that was our first D tier, but following that, we have 2 more D tiers, Crux and Acronix. Don't get me wrong, they have the craziest power. At the time, Acronix can speed it up and slow it down, but we just don't see him use that. He could have single-handedly beat all the ninja as well, but Ninjago wouldn't be where it was if he was. They nerfed him completely. Same with Crux over here. Crux could stop time and could also reverse time. There's 2 other amazing powers. But with his age, we just see that he just stops using it. Only uses it a few times in Hands of Time. Hands of Time could have been a really good season if we would have seen these 2 villains win. But then again, the ninja had to come out on top, even though it goes against any logic. Now we have Gravis, Master of Gravity. We see him only use his power twice, once against the Anacondrae and once against the Master of Speed. And the fact that he loses to Griffin Turner when he can just fly, and he doesn't even levitate any other objects when he fights against the Anacondrae, except for when a huge rock falls him and he stops it from hurting everybody. Like, he could have been a lot more useful and just done a lot more in general. but he didn't. So I'm going to put him at C, in front of Kai and Karloff as well, but the only reason he's in front is because they haven't been seen much in the show compared to him over here. He hasn't been seen, he's maybe even seen like 2-3 episodes max. Well, they have been seen, he's been seen a bit more, Karloff, because we also saw him in season 9, and then Kai himself, he's been seen in almost every episode. Now we have Moro. Moro, now, the Master of Wind, he uses this so well in season 5 that I'm going to put him up here, right behind Zane, but still up here, because the fact that he beats the ninja for the good first half of season 5, just with the power of wind, a power that many people would be like, oh, that's useless, and he beats everybody with it, that is just unbelievably amazing. And the way the character, like, how everything comes in, he didn't want to be the Master of Wind, he becomes the Master of Wind, Master Wu's fallen apprentice, we could say. That's just a great storyline for his character and how he uses wind, more passive power, in such a negative way. Now we have Jacob, and we only see him once in the episode, so clearly he can't be so high. We're going to have to put him C tier behind all these people because he's blind, and the only way he can see is by playing music, so it's not really a power, it's just to help him more. Now we have Pale Man, and Pale Man, he is the Master of Light. He can turn invisible, and this is a great A. He uses this a lot in many of the Tournament of Elements, but he doesn't use it as much, so I'll have to put him around here, because does definitely do it better than all these B, C, and D tier characters, but not as good as he could have done it. This is partially due to because we don't see him much. But when we do see him, he is doing the best. Now we have Skylar. Now, she can absorb anyone's power, which is great, and I would have put her here in A tier, or maybe even S tier, first S tier. But as of crystallized, now she can only hold a power for a certain amount of time, and that just completely puts her down. Like, she can only hold it for an hour. Like, what is that supposed to do? And she can't even hold 2 powers now like she used to. So because of this, she's going to have to go right here. She has a good power, but she just doesn't use it well either. Season 5, she uses it well to fight Kai and everything, but then when she's fighting other villains, because she can only hold it for a certain amount of time, her power is pretty much useless. She can only hold it for, like, what, 2 hours? Then she has to retouch the person to transfer power. It's not great. And she also doesn't even use it most of the time. Like, we've never seen her use Nature, Ash, or Shade's power, which are our next 3 characters. Now we have Belovo. We're going to put him as B tier because Master of Nature, the way he used his power, he could have beat the Master of Mind. But we also don't see him much, and that was the only time we see his power. And then we just hear that in season 9, that he died. So we don't see him much, so we haven't really been able to find if he's a better power user or a worse power user. Now we have Ash, and Ash is B tier, and there's really no explanation for this. He's not as good as these A tiers up here, but we can see what he does to Kai in that episode where he fights him in season 4. He just completely, sorry, I'm gonna have to rearrange this a bit. He just completely beats Kai, and he used his power so well by, like, basically it was teleport in a sense, using smoke between and Kai just could not fight him in that episode. That was also a pretty amazing episode. We got to see him use his power well, but we don't see him generally in the show, so that's why he isn't in the A tier. Now we have Shadow, Shade, the Master of Shadow. So now I'm going to put a C tier. We only see him use his power really once, which was when he just wanted to get out of a room. He doesn't even use it to do what he could potentially do. Like, when he got caught, he could have won that fight, but he doesn't use his shadow at all. He uses it very less in general. So that's why we're going to have to put him over here. And the way he uses it, why did he take a bow and arrow when he can literally summon more of him? As we saw in the Tournament of Elements game in, like, 2015. Now we have Nero, Master of Mind. And Nero, he's A tier again. probably, I'd say right here. He can use his mind to read other people's thing, but the problem is that he doesn't read it often. He like only uses it when he feels it's necessary, when in reality he could have used it to a lot of people, and in season 9 as well. He could have used it for a lot of people to figure out who they were and what they were doing, like with Mistake, but he just decides not to. Then we have Tox, and Tox, again, we only see twice. She can only create a poison cloud for a certain distance, so it doesn't really... What if the ninja just jumps over her? That's why I'm going to put her in C tier, but a little bit in front of Jacob over here. Now we have Dareth, Master of Brown, and yes, we've heard a lot about everybody. Oh, it's Dareth, but like, he doesn't... His power... It doesn't help him almost at all, as we saw in Season 9 when he gained his power by drinking a special potion. So he's going to go back here. Now we have our last three, and these three are our S tiers. First of all, we have the first Spinjitzu Master. He's created many things. Created Forbidden Spinjitzu, not Air Jitsu, normal Spinjitzu. And he's kept all these things. He mastered every element except for wind and water, because that was Wajira's element. He's just... His power use, he kept the 16 realms in balance and protected Ninjago just by himself when Master Wu needs a whole crew of people to do it. That's why he's so good. And then Master Wu over here, as we saw in Season 11, Episode 1, even though he doesn't use elemental powers, his wisdom and training in it, he has beat up all the ninja in that episode, which was, again, just showing that he doesn't need his power, but his mastery over them, like his father's, would still, he can beat up all these ninja and many of these elemental masters. Now we have Garmadon, and Garmadon's also an S tier again because he was bit by the Great Devourer. He is Oni. He can use his Oni power, but also his light-sided power. He's like the more Oni form, while Master Yu is the dragon, and the first Ninjutsu Master is both. So that is our tier list ranking of our 25 different ninjas, elemental masters, and masters in general. If you liked, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time in another tier list ranking. Comment down below which other shows, series should we tier list next time.